The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Why am I even here? Most people probably thought Eminem would come up with this. Actually, maybe I am made of chocolate. This is Mac Shankroom. The trailer you're about to witness will take you back to a time when I was on TV, which means buckle up, people. Where we're going, there are no breaks.
Oof. Oh boy. Oh wow.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Well then. Don't mind the sudden strangeness.
No,
we are...
Brad isn't here. Okay.
Oh. See what happens when Brad decides to leave?
I know, right?
Just messes everything up for the rest of us. But hello everyone.
Now
welcome.
Okay.
Okay. He's I think he's enjoying that butt pillow a little too much.
Don't blame the Shanky who's the mystical voice. I'm just recovering from a wound.
Okay. We weren't going to. But hello everyone. Welcome to our dysfunctional Q&A for Mage. I'm the Rabno Sarkhan, and before we get into it, let's let everybody introduce themselves and who they played over the course of the game.
Hey everybody, I am Mama McStabber, and I will be the moderator for this Q&A this evening. So please use your channel points in chat. It is the little bubble-looking icon in the bottom left of the chat area. As you accrue those by viewing and being in chat and communicating in chat, you can use those to highlight your message. Highlight your message so I can see your questions easier as chat scrolls. And I played Lydia Thompson, the aesthetic that became the Paradox spirit, well, one of two paradox spirits of mind.
Hello, I'm Maddox. I played a paradox spirit in a trench coat known as Arthur Light. Not an expensive trench coat, but a durable one. And yeah, it was a wild ride. Can't wait to answer some questions.
Hello, I'm Ivy Raven. I played Anita Maple, who was of the Verbena tradition, and then decided, fuck it, I'm just going to start throwing lightning everywhere. So she ended up becoming the Forces Paradox Spirit. So, yeah.
Okay. It was a wild ride, and I definitely enjoyed telling a much longer arc instead of the traditional like 4 or 5 episodes. And I think this definitely needed more than 4 or 5 episodes. So hopefully you guys watching also enjoyed our shenanigans. And I think before we get into any real questions, my only question is, given your experience, because I think this is the first time that all of you have ever actually played Mage before, is Mage something that you would play again?
Oh yeah. I still would probably abuse it until Paradox whipped me back into line again, but yeah, I would absolutely pick up Mage again if given the opportunity. Did the same thing to me that Demon did, which is, oh, that's how strong you are. Okay.
Yes, I have already said I'm like in every main Mage game you have a pitch idea for. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I have to have a good character idea. That's my biggest problem. I think the biggest hang up I had with Mage was that I was playing it too conservatively, because I didn't want to be the person who was going to come in and be like, LOLs, guys, I got us all killed. And so now I'm like, I'm not so scared of Paradox. And so especially that's part of the reason I kind of was just like going crazy. So like, yeah, now I think I would if I had a better idea of like character idea. So because I was also like totally lost on this character idea, which made me not like Mage. And then I was like, I'll finish it out. And now I'm like, you know what? It's not so bad. So
I still remember when you first talked about like the whole Destiny thing that you had for the Salem Coven. I was like, oh, that's such a good fucking idea. So
yeah, and
as far as I'm concerned,
I
you're the
couldn't
only-
pass a Destiny roll to save my fucking life. But that's like most of my rolls this season. I couldn't roll above 1 if I was lucky. So yeah,
Some rolls were good, some rolls were atrocious.
all rolls were atrocious. I rolled really well one time, I think, in 8 episodes. So yeah.
As long as it wasn't mundane, I feel I did okay on the rolls. But as soon as I did things that wasn't magic, I just shit the bed. Ugh.
All right. Well, that answered my question. Do you guys have any questions for me before we get into viewer questions?
Would you ever run Mage more like a sandbox?
Define sandbox. I don't think this was railroaded.
No, I'm not saying it was necessarily railroaded, but it definitely had a story like arc. You know, not to say it was railroaded. We were able to make choices and go about it different ways, but it's still
There was a through line.
there was a through line, right? Whereas sandbox is very much more like open world.
Yeah, I think with a modern Mage game, you could definitely run much. You have to run much more sandbox. I think there's just too much at your fingertips that can propel you in so many different directions. The advent of having the entire world's knowledge in the palm of your hand used to be a coveted trade secret for one particular tradition and the technocracy, and now sleepers have a hold of that. So that just it definitely would you would have to have a skeleton of like what you want to do, but modern Mage definitely lent itself more to the sandbox
Gotcha.
experience.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Does the other cast have other questions?
Mm.
If you had to do a series and not have every episode tied to a song, could you do it?
That would be torturous. But yes, because I would use movies instead.
But specifically movies that have a certain song in them, right?
That you would know for that song. Yeah,
Yes.
but still.
So,
Oh,
see,
fuck.
I was just curious because I know I'm the most like uncultured person in the Discord. So all the song references always went straight over my head. I was just like, totally. That really sets the scene. I'm just like, okay, sure.
Now I know to use movies with you.
I don't know movies either.
Oh.
I know like 10 movies maybe on a
Okay.
good day. So
I know that you like to turn movie characters into mages recently. So my
Yes.
test to you is Ferris Bueller. What tradition and what spheres would Ferris Bueller have?
Ooh.
Ferris Bueller, he's gonna have. I don't know the traditions and stuff. That's the problem. I only know the spheres.
That's homework. So you can think of that.
Oh, I thought you wanted the answer right now. Because I was gonna say,
No.
dude's got like mind and time for sure.
Yeah, definitely mind.
And
Got mine in time.
probably some entropy.
Yeah.
He is a lucky motherfucker.
He is a
Yeah.
lucky motherfucker.
I was
Although
gonna say it's either time or entropy makes sense, but yeah.
He also probably uses that entropy to steal from his best friend and then crash a car out a window.
And he's totally in a static.
And
He's very
down.
chill for an ecstatic, but he's still an ecstatic.
He's still an ecstatic.
Yep.
Oy.
Yep.
Do you have a question, Maddox?
Can't come up with anything at the moment. Maybe it'll pop up later.
Okay.
I have a question for Maddox.
Okay, go for it.
Go for it.
How much wood would a Maddox chuck if a Maddox could chuck wood? Or actually, no. Sorry, replace wood with weed.
Chuck weed? No, I'm not doing
I don't
that.
know.
Shit's
Nah.
expensive.
Isn't that what the kids do these days? I don't know.
How much weed would a Maddox weed if a Maddox could weed?
There you go. See,
All of it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I have
Facts.
an unhealthy dependence, so 4 times a week at minimum.
Rocky Mountain High.
Damn straight. Hey, folks, visit Colorado. We won't say come anymore. We're already too full.
God, that's what she said.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as you're only coming into Colorado, that's what it likes.
Oof. And I thought we were gonna be done with cult quotes.
Oh,
moving forward.
no.
It's extra fucked up because we just got snow today.
Oh, God. Okay, so Shaky actually had a question. Our favorite scene out of any season you were in?
All one season I was in.
That includes Storyteller as well.
I'm gonna let the cast answer first.
Okay.
See, my problem is that it's kind of like a threefer for me. So, I really like taking off the dude's tattoo.
That was awesome.
in season 2. I liked predicting Vasily's death because I wanted to use the wonder, and it was the most pettiest way I could use the wonder. And Milton, I don't know why that whole episode, honestly, from start to finish, was fucking awesome. That was probably one of my like favorite episodes of any roleplay ever. Just because, and I mean, it's like in a top 10 or whatever, but yeah, no, that whole episode was just fucking fantastic. So, because there was a lot of stuff in that episode, I was like, yeah, this was great. So, yeah.
I have a few. I loved in the first season that I played in, which was season 2, when Anita and Lydia went to the little cafe. And they had their little like bonding moment because Lydia was really upset. And Anita was basically there as a shoulder. It was really a nice scene. That was lovely to play out. And of course, the fact I got to kill Daniel twice. Because fuck that hermetic.
He was kind of the worst.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alistair. Even at the end, I just can't call you that anymore, man.
Title was
You may be a
usurped.
hermetic, but you're not Thatcher.
But he still didn't have Prime.
But he still doesn't have Prime.
Nothing of his
hey.
will ever be permanent.
By majority of the mage community that I've seen, they all say it's useless. So
Oh no.
you can literally leave a mark of your soul on something with that sphere. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, I will say I'm glad I took it because yeah, it really added potence to things. Mm-hmm.
And not the vampire kind.
Mm-mm.
Either.
No.
I mean, fuck, you made a grenade better.
Yeah.
Without tools. That's the fucked up part. You didn't have to like add shit to it. You just
I
chucked
infused it.
What's your favorite scene, Maddox? Or scenes? Since we all picked a few.
One scene that still sticks out to me is getting pulled into the cyber realm by the spirit Daniel. Holy fuck, I was so... The player, Maddox, was scared shitless. I'm like, fuck, humans aren't supposed to be here. I need to get out. This isn't safe. And only because I'm such a werewolf nerd did I realize the danger I was in. Because if I hadn't played werewolf before mage, I would have just been like, spider, that's fucking weird. But I knew where I was, so I had to panic almost out of like, you know, obligation. So that was definitely an entertaining one. And then, of course, in that same scene, Arthur fumbling his sword when attacking Daniel, because of course he was caught off guard. The Seeking quest was a fascinating romp. And you all had some weird representations. And then, for a totally different reason, the moment where Arthur looked at all the ghosts and said no, and just filled them so full of entropy that I probably sent them all down flying into the fucking labyrinth or whatever the fuck. No, you said I destroyed them entirely. They couldn't. They didn't even go to Spectre. They just went straight gone.
Yep.
Because in the moment, Arthur was like, do whatever I can, and oh, they're ghosts. Cool, I can deal with this. And then afterwards, as not being able to process it because we were in an apocalyptic situation, him just going, wow, I just erased people. That doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just... He knew what he had to do, but he hated that he had to do it. Because even though they were people that he knew were alive, and they were just the representations from that reality, it still didn't sit right with him. And it was one of the few moments where he actually did some proper self-reflection and was like, oh, that was a mistake. The other one was detoxing Alistair, because as he was walking away, he was like, I overdid it.
Interesting.
So those are some of my favorite scenes from Mage.
Oof. 4 seasons of Mage have definitely left me with some fantastic scene work that was done. I know this is sadistic, but killing both of Ben's characters in the span of 2 minutes is definitely something that I'll always remember. Just because he was so hurt. I think it's been the only time that I've ever seen aggravated damage in real life.
Ouch.
That's true.
But I've loved every character. I think has been exceptional, except 2. But otherwise, I think the interesting part has been seeing where characters started and where characters have ended, because you didn't really end even though the story ended. And I think we did some things that I don't think have been touched before. I know that the seekings are usually done one-on-one, but I loved the fact that having you all involved made you feel like you were more cohesive as a cabal. The becoming paradox spirits has never been done. Everybody knows that Wrinkle is a time paradox spirit, and everybody else nobody gives a shit about because they're not really important. But to see that there are now faces and personalities to these paradox spirit, I think takes a leap in a direction that Mage should be taking, where it paradox spirits and all these archmages shouldn't be these like masterful, nefarious, mustache twirling entities in the background or in the backdrop or in the corner of your eye. Like, they should have meaning. They should mean something to people. And now I know that for me, every time that somebody pushes paradox a little bit too much in any game that I tell, as far as Mage is concerned, I now have a thought process as to who's in charge of that sphere and how paradox is going to come crashing down if you push too far.
Because Wrinkle's very polite as a paradox spirit. He's like, hey, this is not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I don't think any
Correct.
of us would be that polite.
No.
I don't know. I
No.
feel like Arthur would just be like, "You're now super unlucky, toodles," and they're gonna be like, "What?" And then they're
Honestly, yeah, he'd be like, all right, you want to fuck with fate to the point where it damages things? Have fun with fate damaging you.
Yeah. Enjoy tripping over your shadow.
yeah. First thing that happens as soon as you say bye is they shit their pants.
Yeah.
They didn't realize they were holding it in. Then they fall backwards, and a bunch of kids start laughing at them. So it's all downhill from there.
And somehow they were standing in a sewer, so how did these kids get the fuck down here?
Sewer kids. Don't you live in cities?
No, I have never been to New York.
I mean, Chicago has sewer kids, I imagine.
All right.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, there were some amazing characters and amazing scenes throughout the 4 seasons. I mean, I watched the first season with those 3 guys playing, and I was like, okay, I've got to play this game. I had no interest in Mage
None.
until I saw how you ran it and how they played it. And I'm like, I got to play this game.
I remember all the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, I don't like Mage.
Mage is never. I'm never gonna play Mage. Mage has never attracted me. And then immediately, I think after the first or second episode,
I'm
you were
like, okay, I want to play Mage.
I need to play Mage.
Oh, just wait. I'm not going to give away the secret, but he has plans to try and get you into a different RPG at some point.
Uh-oh.
He and I, when we visited together here in Colorado, we had some talks.
Uh-oh.
He wants to
Y'all
get you into some
plotting
interesting
about me?
games.
Plotting about storytelling. That's more than
Plotting
anything.
about me? No, that's fine. I like surprises. All right. Shaky has another question. He says, now that this Mage Chronicle is done, what World of Darkness splat do you want to play next? I want the storyteller to answer this one.
What was the question again?
Specifically play or just participate in?
I'm
either
taking
running or
it
play?
as specifically play.
What did Shanky want to know? Because I was responding to him in Twitch chat.
Oh, well, you know what? He needs to stop distracting the storyteller in Twitch chat.
Correct.
So
He's tagging me.
he asked,
Yes.
now that this Mage Chronicle is done, what
Hmm.
World of Darkness splat do you want to play next?
Oof. As a player, I would love, and I've gotten to do it twice now, but I love Werewolf, and Ravenna has been kind enough to let me play with some of the people at this table in her Werewolf game. Ideally though, I would love to be in a Wraith game. I've always ran Wraith, and I've never gotten to be a player since the first time I ever got to play, and that was during the Great War setting. So it's World War One. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have an appreciation for the time period, I think, and I just kind of bullshit my way through it. But I also made one of my lifelong friends at that table, so it was a win either way. But yeah, I think knowing what I know now and having the experience of what I've run and how I've run, I think getting to play Wraith, I think would be so cathartic and delicious in a very
Interesting choice
dark and
of words.
macabre way. Yeah. No, I know what I'm doing.
It is definitely an emotional labor. I will tell you that. When you really invest in the game and immerse yourself in it, it is very much an emotional labor. But yeah, it's an amazing game to play once. You know, it really is.
And then sprinkle through every other World of Darkness setting just so you can still be exposed to it without being traumatized.
Exactly. Yes, because I have done it once, and that was enough. Okay, so anyone else?
Still thinking.
Okay. I know you're a little slow right now because you toked up before.
And goodbye any Twitch monetization you guys had. Sorry.
Whatever.
Niche.
It's legal where you are.
That is true. I am
It'll
an
be
adult
legal
making an
here
adult
in
decision.
January.
Yeah.
Good. That's one down.
I would probably say, since I've played Mage, I've played Demon, I've played VTM, part of me wants to play VTR, Vampire the Requiem, just to try it out, because I know that there's a lot of, especially like player made content for VTR to expand on the world a ton. They have some baller ass covers for some of this stuff, and I'm always just like, the cover looks so cool, but like I'm not spending $20 because the cover looks cool. I'm never gonna play. I mean, I'm never gonna play Werewolf. I don't know. I don't know what the other properties like. I don't think I'd ever play Beast. I don't think I'd ever play Hunter. If I was gonna play Hunter, I may as well play a fucking Ghoul, because then at least I've got a vampire badass backing me up. So
Damn.
yeah.
Mummy?
I don't know if I'd want to play Mummy personally. I know it would depend.
It's World
'cause
of Darkness Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about Mummy. That's probably part of my problem.
It's basically
so,
time travel. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could be a Frankenstein sort of story and do Prometheus.
Prometheum just sounds like Beast, but like with less edge,
You might
From what
like
I've-
Scion.
from what I've heard. So
yeah, basically playing demigods.
Children of Gods.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like a power gamer. I think that's part of my biggest problem is like even like in Mage, I don't typically try to play as a power gamer, so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I want to play this game system where I am God. Because like even in Demon, I'm playing like the most like no power use
know.
Demon. Like I do like no powers, because all my powers I realized are the same thing as my basic abilities. I'm like, ah, fuck. So
I mean, hey, you didn't draw nearly as much attention as the rest of us in Demon, though.
I
Let's be
know.
real.
I'm just saying. So like, if I was gonna play another game, World of Darkness, I would honestly probably would like to try out like VTR, just for shits and giggles. I mean, I would probably play other stuff because truthfully, I'm always down to try different systems. My biggest thing is that if I don't know enough about the system, I always make my first character really sucks ass, but then that character helps me figure out the system. So yeah.
For me, well, let's see. I've played Vampire. I still play Vampire. I've played Wraith. I've played Mage. I've played Werewolf. And Changeling. The Dreaming, not the Lost,
You have
because
to be specific.
I don't need abusive relationship simulator. Okay, but yeah. So I actually would love to play Mummy. I was a huge Doctor Who fan for years and years and years. Eccleston is my doctor, but yeah. So I would probably want to play Mummy. I'm not so sure about Promethean, but maybe. Oh yeah, and I've played Demon too. I forgot about that. But yeah. So Scion sounds interesting. I've known another person who also likes to run Scion, and they told me a bit about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. So that sounds pretty cool. Honestly, I like the world of darkness as a setting. I just do. Because yes, it's dark and twisted and it's messed up, but you know what? It's not as dark as reality, so there's still some escapism in it. So
It's also usually in the World of Darkness games, you're part of the dark and twisted. You are not being subjected to it.
Exactly. And even so, you're still able to be a little bit better than the worst of it. So.
And more than human, which is fucking amazing.
That's fucking awesome. I love playing the monsters. Showing that there is a humane side to them.
Scion's definitely one. I could go in for a Changeling the Dreaming game because it's interesting.
So help me, y'all are gonna make me run Changeling the Dreaming, aren't you?
Oh fuck, I'll run Changeling. just give me a sec to familiarize myself with the V20 system. Because, all right, at some point, I'm doing City of Mist on this channel first. You guys know that. Whenever I can set aside and you guys have
I
an open
have the
spot in
books. I
schedule.
need to just read them over again, but I generally have the WAD 20 system down pat because I've played so many WAD 20 games.
And the viewers didn't hear me say that I'm holding Maddox to running a Changeling game.
All right. But I think, honestly, if it was like, hey, we're playing Vampire the Masquerade, you hopping on in a fucking heartbeat. I've only ever LARPed Vampire and doing it tabletop style in a full committed chronicle instead of just being an antagonistic guest player for Windy City. Just having a character to go through a chronicle with seems like it would be really fun in Vampire.
Well, eventually the Windy City Chronicle will come to an end. And you know Shanky's going to have another chronicle lined up.
Oh, God, yeah, but the last time you guys had so many casts just fucking sort through.
They've already told me I'm going to have to help them do the casting call for the next one, so
Yes!
don't worry. It won't be so stressful for them. Not to mention, I'm sure Windy City is going to end very soon, considering who knows what's happening in the intermission, and who knows what's going to happen when the season starts up, considering the poor choices that people at the table make.
See, I predict at least you guys will get to season 15 before Windy City's over.
Oh, I don't think it'll be that long. I think we'll get to maybe 12.
I know, I'm just stressing you out.
Here's dozen.
All right. So let's see. Mo Shanky questions. And he says, can you tell the pain has finally started to ease? Now that it is over, is there anything you would do different or regret in terms of the story?
Give my character less backstory. I overdid it because I was excited about the questionnaire that Will sent me. He was like, this person, did you wrong someone in your life? I was just like, oh yeah. And then as the story developed, I'm like, he doesn't remember shit about his life. Wait, why did I give him a life? What the fuck? And just, honestly, as odd as it sounds coming from a player, to give less backstory, because what Will produced was liquid gold. So, I honestly thought that, someone had, gone in and, just brain fucked him or something like that and erased his memories of, his entire life and, changed his personality or some shit. But nah, you're just a paradox spirit. It sucks, man.
I
Sorry.
came up with that idea. I'm like, holy fuck, he's a paradox spirit.
Didn't even realize it until after the stream when you pointed it out. I was like, oh, fuck, am I a paradox spirit? What the fuck? Which is why at the start of this, I made the joke of I'm a
And then
paradox
Will's like,
spirit in a trench
yes, we
coat.
can run with that.
I have always been a proponent of the players would write the story for you.
Yes.
There was a moment in my D&D game where I described a shield particularly too exquisitely for my players, apparently. And they started to investigate it for half an hour. They're like, what's wrong with the shield? Why did the shield get such a big backstory? And somebody was like, it has to be cursed. And I was like, well, the fuck it is now. Thank you for that, Jem.
Yes, I have also run D&D.
Oh
is
my
fucking
goodness.
Why does the bandit have a chess piece? I don't know. It was random. No, dude. Why does the bandit have a chess piece? Like, ugh. You will find players who are so committed to pulling details that you didn't have.
I am fine chumming the water, but all of you get to throw the hooks in. So I will pull whatever is in the pool. So
I don't really regret anything about Lydia. Well, I will say there's one thing that I did in character that I regretted after I did it because I realized, oh, that was bad. That was when she basically whoop, the ghost guys coming after our Euthanatos in season 2. poor Ben Nix's character. Oh shit.
God, you'd think for people who are the seat of entropy, the Euthanatos wouldn't be so unlucky.
I know. Because it like fucked his whole memory and everything. I'm like, fuck, I did not mean to do that.
That's the problem with ultimate power. Sometimes you fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, so needless to say, that was a lesson learned. But as far as the character itself, I think if I were to do anything over, I would have had more trauma in her actual backstory because not having much of any gave Will like free reign to just dump the trauma on my character.
So what you're saying is you prefer trauma to be behind you,
Yeah.
not ahead of you.
Because Jesus Christ, she was hand over fist losing more people than anyone else.
Well, he had to make up the difference. That's all.
I know, because she had a very generic, like, suburban upbringing. So it wasn't anything majorly traumatic.
Look, it's rare in the world of darkness, but it's not net zero.
I know. I was like, I just for once want to play somebody that isn't broken. Okay.
it's
And
funny.
get broken.
Yeah, it's funny because I think Liam O'Brien was like, you don't go out looking for dragons if you have a happy life.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I was just like, oh, you had a happy life growing up? It's about to get bad.
Yeah.
Had.
Yeah. So that was definitely, I felt a little bit like, fuck, I really fucked up with that one, didn't I?
Who would have thought you turned your mage into your punching bag character?
I know, right?
You'd think it would be Wraith, but no.
Oh no.
I probably honestly regret playing too soft. So like with the character idea I had, and how I spent my talents and my skills and my spheres and everything, she wasn't made to go like loud, as it were. But honestly, I wish I had probably made her a little bit more loud, especially with the final episode of season 2. I would have loved to have actually been able to just be like, fuck it. Paradox homies over there, vampires are and whatever the fuck are over there. Just be like, call the fucking thunder. Just do this shit. Instead of being like, please no, don't come any closer, and then tripping out as the season ended. Like, because of Paradox or whatever, warping reality around me. So, yeah.
I wish we could say that we planned to take Anita towards that Primalist Verbena track. But I absolutely love where she ended up, because that moment where you were just like, I'm just going to use life and forces and turn myself into lightning so I can get there faster. I was like, you can do that. Fuck. She can totally do that.
She's going to be there in seconds. What the fuck do I do?
How do I handle that?
Yeah.
So it was definitely fantastic to see.
Oh, it was brilliant.
The growth.
I needed to make her be louder, which is why I was like, I'm going to pull on the end of season 2, which was a horrible experience for her based on everything that happened, because she was planning on not being there. She was planning on being out of town at that point. The vampires and all that other bullshit and the Paradox dude. That's why she was like, I've been practicing while I've not been in Miami, because fucking Miami. If you didn't notice, there's a theme with all my characters. Every time they go to a city, they're like, fuck this city in particular. So...
Honestly, though, with the setting we're in,
That
Nowhere's safe.
nowhere's good. So
I get
Like-
that, but like I said, that
Oh,
was why I was like, I can use forces to do like a sunball for a second.
yeah.
That was
Vampires
awesome.
that should be dead. So let's run with that. That's why I was like, so I started kind of basically not even ignoring the fact that I even had life and just looking at forces. And I wish I had kind of done that in season 2 instead of waiting until season 4, just because it maybe would have made the character a little bit more interesting and less like meek. But I was still trying to play in season 2, and even at the start of season 4, I was still trying to play into that, like, I was trying to play the meekish kind of like character, the wandering character that I had because I was so hellbent on like following the idea through. And then after I torched the vampires, that's when I made the turn. I was like, fuck it.
Honestly,
So-
I thought it was great character development because there was a trepidation at the earlier seasons, and then after a while, Anita's just like, "What the fuck am I scared of, son?" It was that scene was also great because it proved to me, holy fuck, vampires are weak.
But like I said, for me, that was a very long way of explaining just that like my biggest regret or change I would have done would have just been that I wouldn't have been so like meek, as it were, and with the way I went initially. So yeah.
You would have come out of the gate more.
Yeah.
forceful.
I was coming at it from like a VTM standpoint,
Yeah.
so I was worried about like the masquerade, quote unquote. I was equating like the masquerade to paradox. I was equating, paradox spirits to like the SI and all this different stuff in my head, instead of being like, this is a balance, like a scale, or like a one of those like roller coasters that goes back and forth, the swing type thing, where you're supposed to kind of ride it where there's the good, there's the bad, it kind of goes back and forth. It doesn't stay at one point or the other. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to come at it for a first time player for Mage. Once you learn that the paradox is less like the masquerade and more like a stack of dominoes
Mhm.
that are on a seesaw that you're trying to keep yourself from toppling over, that's when the game really starts to take that turn for you, because you're like, how many dominoes can I stack before this makes me go ouch?
Honestly, I did the same thing with Lydia. I mean, most of the second season, which was the first time I played Lydia, she was using mundane over magic almost all the time. Almost all the time. So I was doing a lot of the same thing. And honestly, that was because me, the player, didn't really have a full grasp of what to do with magic. And I eventually found some resources that educated me on it, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now I get it. Now I can go gung-ho.
And you also saw what over-reliance on magic does.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I think you guys actually did the smart choices
yeah,
instead of me, where
right
I was
out
like,
of the
I
gate,
don't know how
you're like, I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
know
stack
how
up the paradox.
yeah, I don't know how this magic works. Let's tinker and figure it out. I should have played an Aetherite, I swear. Like that'll probably be my next mage character, because God, just tinkering and fucking with magic and figuring out how it worked was so fun.
My favorite is that in second edition, the last line in the little block for entropy before it goes into what each level does, it literally says, mind you, there's only so far you can stack coincidence. And then it goes into what you can do with entropy. And I was just like, that's an interesting sentence to end this descriptive on.
That's your only warning.
And that is
Yeah,
your
it
only
means
warning.
it means probability has its limits. Listen to them, dipshit. But yeah, no. As soon as you said, looks like someone's got a crutch, I was like, fuck yeah, I've got a crutch. I wonder why. Oh, it's because it's literally my sphere. Okay. That's why I over-relied on it.
This is
Not
also-
because Maddox is just always loves using the powers that he's given in games.
You came into it being allowed to have entropy 3.
Yeah.
And that's why whenever I do a mage game, I always cap Arete and the spheres at 2. Because once you get to 3, you're gonna have one sphere that you're just gonna abuse.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if you start at 2 and you kind of feel out what's happening, you can choose, okay, I want to see what this one does further on. I might want to see what this one, I know I don't want to see what that one does anymore. That one was a mistake. And one of the things that I enjoyed is that it wasn't until Lydia tried to see what had been going on in the past that you were like, well, you got no correspondence, so you can't really see beyond your field of vision,
Mm-hmm.
beyond your immediate bubble, and it was just like, oh, I need to fix this immediately.
Yeah, you just hear Lydia scribble on her list of
On
things
her
to
mental
get
notepad,
correspondence.
because her predominant sphere was mind. So like in her mental notepad, oh yeah, let me research some correspondence shit.
But it's true. It isn't until you try to do something
Mhm.
that physically is stops you, because like it's like, oh, somebody's in their apartment. I wanna just shoot lightning through their socket at them, and shock the shit out of them. And it's just like, well, do you have the correspondence for that? No. Well, you better go drive over there and take a look at him.
God, you have the power of gods, and you have to take a cab to kill someone. That is pretty funny.
You better be in line of sight.
Yeah.
Also means that the virtual adepts are way scarier than people give them
Oh
credit.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna use mind to hack their brain. They're in China, and
Correspondence in mind.
technically, like with correspondence 1, you can like have like perfect like spatial awareness to the entire world, basically, right? It's like,
Technically.
how far away is the moon from me right now? You could actually
Mhm.
have that at 1.
You know when high tide and low tide is.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
At 2, you can literally, between mind and correspondence, do remote viewing.
And I'm guessing correspondence 3 is where you get into like teleportation and all that shit.
You can start to pull
Pull things to
small
you.
things. Yeah.
At
Yeah,
4,
is
you
when
can
you
do
start
ports.
portaling.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because basically having mind 3 with correspondence 2, Lydia was able to telepathically communicate with Ricardo.
Interdimensionally, if I recall.
Yep. So, correspondence. I
Correspondence.
overlooked it until I realized, wait a minute, not having it is hurting me.
Yeah. And with
And-
Prime too, you can make that telepathic communication permanent. And as a couple, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then fuck, Anita proved what forces can do.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first person on any Mage stream I've seen who didn't do forces in the like D&D way. You did it in a way that actually made sense for the world of darkness.
It was
'Cause with
very
D&D,
mage
it's, you know,
appropriate. Mm-hmm.
Balls of fire and all that shit, and it's theatrical and fantastical, which is great for D&D. But you pulled like more than just fire, because for some reason forces everyone calls the pyrosphere. But no, you
Oh.
did
You pulled
did
the
light.
sun. You made yourself lightning. I mean, it's like
Like you
fuck.
did other shit with
Mhm.
it, and I was really happy to see
It was
it, because
very creative.
I'd always been underwhelmed when I saw people use forces, because in my personal mind, I didn't feel they were utilizing it to its fullest capabilities. They're like, oh, it's the combat magic. It's like, nah, dog, that's versatility incarnate right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
I never did it, but theoretically, like I could have made like the group invisible, or I could have made a room silent because I can, the force of like the sound or whatever. Like
Mhm.
there's all
That's
kinds
true.
of the things that forces lets you do is really wild.
Mhm.
And it gets better if you kind of focus it into other things. So
Mhm.
like if you're going to be like, I want to be silent, forces and correspondence, because you have to be able to, or forces in mind, for example. If you wanted to be like blacking out like a room, basically get rid of the light, instead of making light, taking light away, forces and correspondence, because you don't have to worry about seeing. There's all kinds of different things. Like from when I was reading that thing, and I was just like, yeah, but I don't want to do any of these things. So, but I remember that it was talking about like how you could like create light or like bend light, and I was like, well, if you can bend light, then fuck, you can, like I did in the final episode, doing the thing with like trying to create like basically a giant like light laser.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Using forces and matter, you could solidify air into a barrier,
Yeah.
which
yeah,
is fucked up.
Yeah. In a city like Miami or Tampa, like a forces mage can get away with so much, because there's always going to be rain or a cloudy day. You're always going to be able to be like, lightning could have struck.
That's like where
Right
we
there.
live. We're near rivers and stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of storms that come through.
well, you can be less flashy. You could technically use forces in life and make yourself into a moving fog.
Yeah.
So
Just disperse into a fine mist,
Yeah.
but not bloody like if you got hit by a monster.
All right, and we have one question from Junie. Knowing what you know now, would any of you, including Storyteller, change any actions you have taken throughout the game? We kind of hinted on this, but like, if Arthur could go back and change something you felt was a mistake he made, what would he have done instead?
He's still. This one's interesting because I also touched on it at one point. But detoxing Alistair, he probably still would have done. What he realized he messed up on is not giving him the time to process it, because he immediately ticked up his dopamine to crazy levels so that he was happy. It still had a positive effect, luckily, but I think at the moment he wasn't a paradox spirit. He was just a euthanatos, and they have the whole balance philosophy from start. And the detox in his mind was a way to show Alistair things can be different if you want them to be. But he didn't give him the actual option to experience difference. He just immediately corrected the problem, then made Alistair feel better.
Yeah.
Without letting him experience healing. He
To
just
ease
skipped right to
into it.
recovered.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was just jarring. So I think going back, I wouldn't have also added on the dopamine rush on top of it.
Yeah.
I would have just cleared out the drugs and said, all right, let's see what you do.
Yeah.
Which is more harsh, but also more what I think what Arthur intended to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just got, overzealous.
If I had to do over something that I regret, as much as I hated how it had played out with yeeting the fucking soldier ghosts, I wouldn't change that, because that was a learning point for Lydia. Sometimes your impulses are not right. It was a lesson for her to learn, because she was still very young at the time. Honestly, I think in the scene where Lydia walked into the church sanctum after Ricardo had stabbed Vasily, I should have killed Daniel then. I should have just made him drop dead. And if I could go back and do that, I would. Knowing what I know now.
He did kind of make things a bit complicated, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, that's what I would change if I could. Because Lydia's instincts were spot fucking on. Even if technically he didn't cause it that timeline, he eventually did. Her instincts were spot fucking on. She should have just killed him.
Honestly amazed no one in the group developed a kill hermetics on sight mentality
Lydia
after a
just about
certain
did.
point.
Just about did. The only one that really redeemed himself with her at all was worth a damn was Alistair. And even he was a little sus.
I mean, fuck, he's a hermetic.
I know.
Being a good person can only take you so far in that tradition.
Correct.
Although he also proved that spirit is invaluable.
Yes.
Like, oh my god. It's the same as, I'll do a quick werewolf reference. It's the same as needing a Therage and then never having one. It's like, oh god, we don't need them for everything, but when we need them, we really fucking need them.
It's a good thing you got one.
At that moment, yeah.
Not doing. I had been trying to figure out if there was a way for me to basically make that vampire chick's stupid like haven place go up in a giant ball of fire after we left in season 2, and I was just like, no, I don't think I could do it, blah blah, blah. And I honestly probably could have done it, and that was, if I was going to change something, I would have changed that.
I
Just
agree
because
with
fuck
that,
her.
and Lydia would have helped you any way she could.
Yes, I also encourage arson on vampires.
Yeah.
Because I had been trying to figure out how to do it, and I didn't really have the forces. I was more trying to figure out if there was a way for me to like have like a gas main rupture and it just like fireball the whole place or something. Yeah. But it was just kind of like, we're trying to keep the scene moving. I don't know what I'm doing, so I was just like, I guess I'll just keep my trap shut. So, because the whole time I was like, wheels turning. Can we get like a car to like crash through the front and slam into her and like pin her against a wall? And we, can we? Because like I know how to, the player knows how to kill a vampire. The character was trying to figure out, is there anything that can do that we could do here to kill a vampire? So yeah.
And now just flashing them works.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was still options we had then, but also in like season 2, it was the like everyone only had like 1 or 2 sphere, like had like 2 or 3 spheres max with like 1 or 2 dots in them kind of thing. So I was like, if I didn't know if our characters could survive like a firefight with the kindred, as it were. That's why I didn't like. Yeah. So
Not
The
like an
threat
actual
wasn't the
firefight.
vampire. The threat was the mage ghoul she had.
well, yeah.
Also correct.
Yeah. I assessed that situation
Yeah.
real quick. I'm like, I know who the real threat in this room is.
Yeah, that false fortune teller was the Tremere. They don't start with fortitude, and I don't think I gave her more than 2 dots of it, just in case you guys did get froggy.
Yeah.
But you saw what 1 or 2 dots can do when you took out an entire Sabbat church by yourself in 1 round.
Yes.
Arthur
but
just
time you
stood there
need
and
to do that.
watched.
No, I'm
And
just
we
saying,
made friends with the red cap.
Yeah, Arthur meeting a red cap. He was like, "What the fuck am I looking at? It's a red goblin. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" I mean, he wasn't cursing in his head, obviously, because Arthur was too straight-laced for the longest time in this series, because he thought he was a cop.
What the golly
was-
gosh?
What the golly gosh?
Yeah, but it was entirely just, I don't know what this thing I'm looking at is. Why is it eating a shoe? Just,
No, I completely agree, though, that the vampire chick, yeah, that needed to be handled. I don't think any of us understood how to utilize the limited spheres we had to affect that at that time. Because had we understood better, we might have done something. That was my only issue with playing such a short season as my first season. I really didn't get to learn a lot of how to utilize the magic. So. But yeah, once I finally got it figured out, though, I'm like, okay, now I can make some shit rock and roll. But yeah, that was rough. Okay, McStabber Studios, Shanky here has, what do you feel was your most broken abuse of reality during the game?
oh god, I did it so many times.
Yes, you did.
Hang on, I have to narrow it down. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I think mine is creating a foolproof plan that involved one person becoming all 9 paradox spirits. I think that was my abuse of power.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And totally hermetic in the thought process, too.
Totally.
Oh, well, I'm the only one who can do this right, so I'm just going to get me
I'm just gonna
every
clone
single time.
me in all these instances of reality. Yeah.
Who cares if I'm just advancing something that's going to show up anyways?
It was convoluted in the most hermetic way possible, but it also worked in the most hermetic way possible.
And then he just had a weird stroke of bad luck.
I was gonna say the bad luck was the biggest about.
It was the one that definitely
you know.
affected things the most. I mean, fuck, it was so bad, he literally flipped me off when he saw me. It's
No,
just
I meant for
that's too funny.
I meant for your character. The biggest abuse of reality was making him eternally bad luck. Like the most...
I didn't intend for Eternal. I was just like, all right, we're gonna have to fight him, so I'm just gonna make his rolls shit. That was my thought process on it, and then I rolled really well.
And then we
and
spanked
you were-
all of them.
Yeah, and you had Prime in there, I'm sure too. You just didn't probably say it, but you were probably like looking longingly at that Prime too, like you're unlucky forever.
Yeah.
Damn. I think just because, as Will stated, coincidence can only carry you so far, just having a room ready for us at the hotel was kind of a stretch. It was like, are you there? And Arthur panics. He's like, oh, fuck, I can't lie. Yes! And then he's like, all right, hopefully the book has my name in it. That was such a misstep. And it literally tore his back up to do it. So I also got a great scolding from you for that, Morgan. Just the immediate, like, Arthur, you don't have to rely on it this much, dude. We had options.
Yeah. You
That was a
had
nice
options.
scene.
Yeah. There's always other options other than just being like, I'm gonna use powers. So yeah.
That was also just a Maddox problem, though, of, as I said earlier, I just like using the powers I'm given in RPGs.
You had one power and it was, am I lucky right now? ST?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
That's
am I
not a
lucky right
power,
now?
bro. I'm sorry. Like that's not really a power. Like
Good thing there's way less like merits and flaws in Mage. I specifically didn't take any on this character because I'm like, oh my god, I already feel too powerful.
I'm trying
I
to think
didn't
about-
have a flaw on Lydia until after season 2 because of trauma.
Yep.
I added a flaw for season 3.
It's funny because for like vampire characters in a game that I run, I will always let you do merits and flaws. But like with werewolf and mage, I'm like, you're so powerful already. Why would you invite misfortune
Yeah.
on yourself by picking any flaws?
But because I didn't at first, because she had a very generic upbringing, no real trauma. So I'm like, okay, well, there's really no flaws that are truly applicable right now. But then after all the deaths and horrible experiences, yeah, she was traumatized and had like a physical reaction to hermetics. Like, I'm going to murder them.
See, I'd love to watch an all hermetic game just to see what sort of bullshit they'd cause.
Oh God, the chaos.
Yeah, everyone says that the Order of Hermes are the ones who are like all about control and shit. Yeah, controlling things into chaos.
Exactly, because everyone thinks they're right.
Y'all make the Marauders look tame.
An all hermetic game, I think, would become boring very fast, just because everybody would be like, "Oh, there's the problem. I gotta go to my library to figure this out," and it would just be
Pretty
one
much all their
episode,
time would be spent in books.
one whole library episode instead of a shopping episode, and then we would get
Shopping
to
is so
problem
much more
fixing.
fun.
Yeah, shopping, you get new things instead of just info you probably could have gotten with a quick Google search.
Yeah. Or a dice roll. All right. For me, honestly, I felt that my most egregious use of life, honestly, was when I attacked Malcolm Gaines and his Gollum chicks right there in public. Because while it wouldn't have been obvious what I was doing, so that part could be coincidental, the effects of it were not coincidental. Women turned into clay and basically collapsed. Yeah. That's the one that really stands out to me. Is like, holy shit, that happened. But in this season, I mean, I got a little bit of Paradox this season, but never anything major.
Mind is the hardest to earn Paradox.
Yeah,
with.
because it's so subtle. And even life can be very subtle if you know what you're doing. So,
If.
yeah.
Yeah, but for me, like when Morgan turned into lightning to travel, when Maddox gave this guy eternal bad luck forever, and when you literally destroyed Daniel's mind, like those
Remotely?
for me were just like,
Holy
you
shit.
guys are monsters.
Yes.
Yeah. Mage
Okay, yeah, that
proves-
was kind of badass. Be able to do it like remote.
Mage just proves that humanity is not ready for power.
No.
It's funny because Shanky's like, oh, since it's the last episode, you should give them like a little couple bonus experience points, which one was hilarious coming from the stingiest XP person I have heard about.
Facts.
Damn, now other storytellers are calling him out.
Facts.
but two, I was like, have you not been paying attention to the season, my friend? Like, they're gods. Once you hit Arete 4 or 5, like, you are a god. You are whatever you want. You just need 2 or 3 successes.
Yeah.
Who needs 2 successes when you can just roll 1 and have your fingers crossed really fucking hard?
Willpower points are there for a reason.
Yeah, no shit. I have to be like, I'm gonna use 2 willpower because there's gonna be 3 botches and 1 success. So get that 1 success. Woo! I don't know. I like seriously. The most power usage, like that was over the top. I don't know. Starting to sing the fucking Ghostbusters song, like the when I was like Anita, and then turned to Arthur, hoping he would know the reference, and he had no fucking clue. And I was like, fuck it, and finger gunning like ghosts, probably because I really didn't do anything in front of people except for those ghosts and Daniel. So
That was great though. Maddox was laughing and he just wanted to go Arthur, but I was like, nah, Arthur hasn't seen that shit.
yeah, I know. I knew he had that. It was a good opportunity for me to bust Arthur's balls, but also just like be like finger gun some ghosts.
It
which
was
is also the
truly
name
amazing.
That's also the name of her band, Finger Gunning Ghosts.
I'd listen to that
Wink,
band.
No?
Better than
Spirit.
Better than finger banging ghosts, honestly.
One
what you
finger
think.
ghost punch.
Wow, hearing a heavy metal reference out of Raylan Dare is weird.
You are lucky I don't have my post-it note with my bad band names on it. Because the only one that I can remember right now is Edgar Allan Crow's.
Edgar Allan Crow's. Okay, you know what? That's fucking awesome, though.
Not when the lead singer sounds like a crow.
Okay, that's not awesome, but
Ha!
Our-
Fuck,
I
this is where
love
the
y'all.
cast breaks. Not in the actual chronicle, but at the fucking Q&A.
Yes.
Uh,
This
Going
is us
back to the-
unfiltered. No.
Yeah, exactly. This is what the Zoom chat is before and after the season.
Yes.
But going back to the Milton episode, I think that was one of the most creative uses that I've seen Anita do, because you like literally touched the van and were like, what is here? What is this? What is going on? And that's how you found Milton.
yeah, just trailing your fingers along.
Yeah. Well, I always forget about like the level 1 being able just like to find or like
sense.
feel or
Mhm.
tell or whatever. Yeah. Because I was honestly like, I have no fucking clue what to do with matter. And then I was just like, fuck it. He's got a toy car. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to use matter. Oh, there's a van. I'm going to touch the van with matter too, because I'm already touching things with matter. So no.
It was good though. I love
it
that
was
scene
excellent.
for y'all.
It is cool though, because you can do kind of like a not seeing thing of being able to be like, because people touch cars in parking lots,
Mhm.
they do, so it's not like it should draw a bunch of attention to you. It might be a faux pas if someone sees you doing it to their car, but being able to be able to like change the lock, for example, to like melt the lock down instead of having to lock pick it or something with it. I don't know. That honestly was one of those things for me that was like, this is a cool thing to remember, because it's more of that like less seen and still getting something done. I don't know. It's kind of like entropy, except the only difference is instead of lucking it into existence, you're actually having to do something. So sure, there's evidence. The lock is been disassembled or melted or something, but like, who's the odds that someone's going to get the lock checked?
Yeah.
Even if the lock doesn't work anymore, they're most likely just going to be like, well, the lock's busted. I'm not taking it in and paying for them to fix it because whatever, So I don't know. Or you just don't even care at that point, because the odds that they're going to piece it, put it 2 and 2 together. Quick math.
The chances that you melted a fellow mage's vehicle like lock and they can check that shit are very slim compared to it being a sleeper.
Yeah.
Although, as a quick thing, moment of silence for the saps. Damn, those poor fuckers.
Sorry, saps. That also, I am so glad you used that acronym.
Oh my god.
I was
it was
so glad.
fantastic.
I was so glad I get to stretch that as long as I possibly could, and then just be like, "Hey Milton, you're fucking sap." Like,
to which he just goes, "Yeah, it wasn't my idea."
the
Meanwhile,
dejectedness.
storyteller, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Like the second I came up with it, I was just like, "Oh, they're gonna have fun with this.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have so much fun with this." And Milton did turn out to be much more fun than I originally had him in mind. Like I was just gonna be like this sappy kind of like tech nerd, and then you breathed life into him when you were just fucking around with him, and I was just like, "Yo, Milton is fun."
Yeah. No,
He's a
exactly.
very emotional young man. Bless his heart.
I gotta say, Morgan, that is something you are incredibly gifted at a table. Is when you do scenes with NPCs, you actually breathe life into them. You engage so much in that scene that the storyteller has to bring it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I do enjoy role playing. It's one of my few like things I get to do in this existence, and so I try to make it as like interesting as possible. But I also like I'm a fucking goof, and so like I know when I interact with people, a lot of times I'm kind of goofy if I'm not like super depressed. But like I know that you can channel that into a conversation with somebody to make the conversation more interesting for everyone involved. I know I'm doing it purposefully at times and not as purposely at other times, but this is not me trying to be like pump myself up. I love interacting with like SPCs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, I just do. It's probably because I don't interact with a whole lot of people in real life, so I'm just like, it's SPC time.
Oh, I love
That's
SPCs too.
That's why I always tell Shanky I love interacting with ghouls. I love interacting with ghouls in Vampire. I enjoyed interacting with the NPCs or the SPs in Mage in the 4th season. In the 2nd season, not so much, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like, these guys are all fucking dicks. This guy's a dick. That guy's a dick. She's a dick. He's a dick. Like, these people all fucking suck. No offense to the SPCs in season 2.
No,
but
they all did kind of suck.
Yeah.
They all
it's
kind
like-
of sucked.
It's okay. They're not real. They don't have opinions.
Well, I don't want the storyteller to feel like I'm beating up on his SPCs. It was like dealing with like was it Ricardo in the park that gave us the task
Yes.
in season 2? Yeah, like the whole time I was like, this dude's a dick.
Yeah. Oh, he was
Uh,
a dick in season
dealing
2,
with-
even in season 3. That was
Well-
that influence of Daniel.
Yeah, so I get why the characters were dicks, but at the same time, it was one of those things where it's just like, I don't enjoy sitting there and interacting with a character who is a dick. So if
Same.
the character is a dick, I will kind of just be like, cool, this conversation is basically pointless.
Mhm.
So I'm going to shut up and wait for the conversation in so we can go interact with someone else who's worth interacting with. So, and Milton
Yeah.
was a ton of fun. I honestly, I was like, if whatever happens, maybe I'm gonna drag Milton back to my fucking like fuck shack or whatever and be like, hey Milton, we're gonna show you some fucking magic up in here. And be like, when you hear that thunder, it's not Anita's cheeks clapping, it's Milton's.
I didn't think it was a thing, but if the story had gone differently, Arthur was gonna offer that Milton like pal around with him because he felt bad for him. It's like, this dude just lost all his friends. Fuck. And
Deputize
second,
Milton.
yeah, and then well, maybe not that, but help him stay on his feet and shit. And the other one was, man, I wonder if there's like a mage equivalent to ghouls, or like, the knows you're a supernatural, isn't supernatural technically themselves, but still helps you out. But I didn't know any avenue to pursue that, so I never followed up on it. It was just idle thoughts I had between games.
I can imagine Arthur as a paradox spirit kind of checking in on Milton.
Mhm.
Just being like, all right, does he need a lucky break? No? Okay. Because we all sort of agreed, yeah, we may favor the mages a bit more than other supernaturals, but humans are people too. Sometimes they just need a break. Come on, people.
Humans are people too. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, humans are people too, despite what we all may think.
Not counting Milton, because we know how we all know how everybody feels about Milton. But what is one SPC that you absolutely enjoyed interacting with, and who's one that you loved wanting to punch in the throat?
It's honestly sad because the SPC I'm about to talk about, I never got a name. That fucking red cap was an absolute delight. As soon as I was like, why are you here, man? 3 squares a day, man. I was like, oh my fucking god, that's how he talks? I need to interact with this red cap like every episode. Holy crap, this guy's great. Like, I was just instantly invested in what he was doing there. Why was he there? Just, it was so good. And then, well, I won't say Daniel because we all wanted to punch Daniel, but after the matron just bounced and left her church in the hands of all the Sabbat, I'm like, you fucking bitch. No, you don't rent out your space to vampires and then dip when we say the world's ending. Fuck your fucking plans. Oh my god. Yeah, no, she pissed me off to the point where if I saw her again, I probably would have slugged her.
I will have you know for the record that Lydia did not trust that bitch all the way back in season 2.
Arthur had no context. He's like, all right, everyone else is going there.
By
Well, I guess I'll visit
season 3,
this woman.
Lydia really didn't trust that bitch. Yeah, no. I found Bashir absolutely fascinating, both in season 3 and in season 4. Season 3, he was a douche. But he was good at keeping that shit hidden until the very end. But but no, he was very interesting. I loved the culture behind him, and the practices that he did is very fascinating. It's closed practice, really, for that culture, but it is very, very interesting. And that was super fun to engage with, him needing chickens. And I'm like, Lydia's like, oh yeah, you can get some down the street.
We need a live chicken. In Miami, give me like half an hour.
Yeah, I know where you can get them.
I know a guy.
But oddly enough, the weirdest part to me was just magic with avocado.
Yes.
Somehow that was the oddest ingredient to me when he was listing shit. I was like, avocado, really?
Yeah.
The live chicken, I forget. I know what you're going to do with that, but
Well,
avocado?
the avocado they're going to serve with the chicken after they cook it.
Correct.
Waste
Avocados
not,
from
want not.
Mexico. Sorry.
Because they just need the blood of the chicken for the ritual. They're just going to chop the head off, use the blood, and then cook the chicken.
Yeah, and pluck it, skin it, and fry it. Yeah.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares that it was just using magic? It probably makes it taste better.
Makes it taste better. Avocados and plantains. That's right. You got to
Yep.
fry up the plantains because that shit with sour cream is the bomb. But no, I loved Bashir. I thought he was a fascinating character. Ricardo was a lot of fun too once he wasn't a douchebag. But literally, Bashir was just very interesting for me to engage with the times I did. It was very interesting for me to play Lydia recently betrayed by Bashir, having to engage with one that had never betrayed her.
You started it off great.
Oh, thank you. Because
Where
that
you were like,
Yeah.
I can't see him. I know he's done nothing wrong, but I can't see him.
right, because it was too
So
raw
good.
for her. And, she's ecstatic, she's emotional. So, yeah. But at least she knew well enough to, like, I can't do that. Yeah, so that was very interesting, that awkward conversation in the kitchen.
Hey, he apologized. He's like, I'm so sorry for the thing I haven't done yet.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, it's fine. I'm really
you
pissed at
haven't
you,
done
but it's
it.
fine.
I'm not. Technically, I'm pissed at a version of you that now doesn't exist. But it just was recent.
It's that
dude.
kind of anger where you've been angry for so long, you're just tired.
Yeah,
You're not even angry.
That's where
It's just,
Lydia was.
fuck.
She was so tired of being angry. She's like, okay, let's just solve this shit now so I can move on, please. But no, the one I really wanted to punch in the throat. I mean, do we have time? I have a list. But
Maybe give us like top 3, just so we can
okay,
keep the Q&A
definitely,
moving.
of course, Daniel. I mean, I was wanting to punch him in the throat from the very first time I met him. Definitely the matron. Oh yeah. And honestly, from season 2 and 3, the Euthanatos guy, he just rubbed me the wrong fucking way.
Don't worry, he was replaced by a paradox spirit.
Yes, he was.
Out with the old, in with the new.
That's very Euthanatos.
Yep.
Of course, the universe recycles. Why not? I was surprised you didn't also add in Malcolm Gaines. Punching him in the throat wouldn't have done anything, fucking vampire, but
Well, he became mortal again. So, I mean, she did basically punch him by, basically causing him to have a hemorrhagic stroke.
oh, you're alive. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I can hurt you easy.
Heal this motherfucker.
Heal this.
We never got around to it, but since vampires are very static, if we encountered any more, Arthur was just going to use entropy to just rot them where they stood. It's like, no, stop, dust. I don't even need to decapitate you first. I'm just going to turn you to ash. There we go.
That'd be a big push.
I don't know. I was gonna say my problem is that a lot of times, like, if I'm so I was totally lost in season 2. So there's a lot of SPCs I interact with. I do not remember who any of those SPCs were. I remembered Ricardo in the park because he seemed like a dick. My own personal vibe check was being like, Ricardo's a fucking dick. Fuck this guy. When we went to the hospital psych ward or whatever, and Bashir was there and he told us how to open that gateway thing. The whole time my vibe check was like, this dude's a fucking dick. So, and I understand there's reasons because of what was going on in their lives and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, my whole time, me, the player, was just like, these characters are dicks. I would have gladly punched any of them in the fucking throat. The
whole
Bashir,
cast of NPCs in season 2.
yeah. I mean, honestly, Bashir, for the little bit of interaction we had with him, for punching in the throat, he probably actually ranks up there for me in season 2, simply because it just he felt like, I don't want to say greasy, but his whole character oozed this thing of I'm using you guys to do something you shouldn't be doing, or I'm not going to tell you what's going on because I want to like
Because you're expendable.
hopefully something bad happens to you in the process, so I don't have to deal with you anymore. And so that was the vibe I had from him. That very little interaction we had that whole time in that episode in season 2, and so he's probably my punch in the throat. The funny thing is that then it's like interacting with him in season 4, he's probably not necessarily he's not punched in the throat anymore. Because I was trying to think of the SPCs I actually interacted with, and it's like you said no Milton, so I was like, okay, who else I interact with? Honestly, no. All those people in season 2 are bad. I would have actually liked to have punched Mr. Saturday Night in the fucking throat. So
I can give you an out.
yeah, I understand why you were doing it, but like the character himself, the whole time I was like, I understand this is a big deal. This is a huge fucking deal. Everyone's freaking out because it's Baron Samedi and stuff. But I'm just like, I don't fucking care. And so, but like his attitude about how like you're all fucking dead, you're all blah blah blah. You know you've already screwed it up, etc. etc. I'm just like, yeah, no, he would have been a punch in the throat for me, honestly.
Death spirits are so pessimistic.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I was hype on it, but also at the same time of you just being like, I'll think about it, and then you just sort of looked at the rain stick and just never like really paid attention.
I
to
love
it.
realize
It's the smartest decision you probably made.
I didn't
in
realize
that
that I actually had a physical rain stick. He said, go outside, feel the grass between your toes and call the rain. I thought he actually meant go outside and call the fucking rain. Cause I'm like, well, I got forces. Sure, I can do that. I didn't realize I had the fucking rain stick. And so, yeah, no, like I said, sometimes some of the stuff is lost in translation for my brain.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. No, I will say as a paradox spirit, though, she definitely every once in a while, she just like flips that rain stick over and she's like, sup, brah. And
Hi,
then she
you still gonna help?
And then just like slaps her hands, lightning claps away. Yeah.
She's like, you're a Loa. All right.
How's that timeline treating you? Peace.
What's up, dog? I'm one of the wardens of reality.
Yeah.
Get on my level.
The clouds shift into a large middle finger.
Oh my fucking god.
She would probably also like she'd just like show up and be like, hey, let's have a beer. Cool. Now you know, like we're on the same level ish. She'd totally make him feel like he's on the same level, and then she'd be like, oh shit, someone did something they shouldn't have. See ya. Like
Oh, hang on, I gotta go slap a wrist. I'll be right back. Fucking great.
Fucking
Being able
brilliant.
to being able to discuss a Loa spirit and saying that they're beneath you is a fucking such a flex.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Don't get me wrong, culture and everything fantastic, you know, chef's kiss, etc. The character's mindset though, I was just like, no. So that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, the character's mindset, I feel like, yeah. So that's kind of where I am. I don't want anybody who's here who might be listening to this or listening to after the fact thinking like, wow, she's shit talking on a. It's like, no, I'm not. I have no qualms or issues with that stuff. The culture, etc. The rituals, it was a great fucking scene. I was just saying that like Mr. Saturday Night it gets a punch in the throat. So
It also threw me off because most of the like pop culture references to like deities or powerful beings referencing themselves as days of the week, I always connect to Norse mythology just from a personal standpoint. So hearing Mr. Saturday Night, I'm like, wait a second, that's not
that. I knew exactly who that was, and I was like, oh shit.
I realized it as you kept just talking. I was like, rain, and
as soon as you gave the description, I was like, okay, it's Baron Samedi,
Yep.
and I'm not fucking with this. But I didn't realize that at the time that was what the reason for that whole thing. And so yeah, but no, like yeah. Also, Maddox, part of the reason you equate so many deities with like Norse is probably because you're white. No offense.
it was one of the first mythologies I learned in school.
He's
Yeah,
palm
Yeah.
colored.
Yeah. Check your privilege.
That was sorry. I've been dunking on Maddox all season. For the people who are watching, they don't understand. Like we'd go before the session, during the break, after the session. I'm just like, hey Maddox, Kobe.
That's what happens when you play
get
a
a gift
novice.
sub here at McStabber Studios, it says you've been stabbed by the person who gifted the sub to you. So we basically do these little jabs all the time.
And I will say, no offense, Maddox, if it bothered you, I would hope you would say something. I've just been giving you shit because you seem like an affable young man. So
This is a community where I know I am free and open enough to say if something bothers me.
Absolutely.
And I haven't had to say it once yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, it's just like Timber Brad. Every one of his characters and every one of my characters have somehow become this like constant, just kind of like, you know, grinding against each other of just like, you kind of suck. No, you kind of suck. You kind of suck, kind of thing. So yeah,
yeah, but it's the way that friends like playfully insult each other.
I definitely thought you two were going to be grinding in a different manner.
He's the one who killed that magic, trying to pull it back in the season finale. I was like, bitch, nah. I see how it is. He's cheating on me with the thought of his. No, I'm not going there.
Ooh. This is
that
not- we
almost
were-
went
we
against
were-
TOS.
We were in
Not that
Miami, not
anime.
Alabama.
This is not that anime.
This wasn't Neon Rain in Alabama. That's right,
No,
Max.
no.
So
It is not Neon Roll Tide.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Well, are there any other questions from viewers? This is last call for questions from viewers.
they're all scared.
Like, oh God,
if there's
this
no
unfiltered
further questions,
lunacy.
is there any... What is wrong with you players? Everything.
Everything.
Absolutely everything.
Absolutely
Pick-
everything.
Pick a thing that's wrong with us.
We are neurospicy.
Yep. For sure.
I human real good.
I human real good.
Real
Also,
good.
folks, we literally played the biggest power trip in the world of Darkness under Demon. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing right with people who enjoy that shit.
I will say that your innie, not your outie, asked, will there
My innie.
will there be another Mage Chronicle?
I will say that Morgan, in her infinite wisdom, did plant a seed for something that I already have a lot of blood heading into my nether regions for, which is World War II. And the fact that Mage is attached to that also just signifies that I need to schedule a blood bank appointment because I'm gonna run out of it.
Stop.
Dude.
You only get so erect.
If-
I can only so
if-
much.
If you've been chubbed for more than 4 days, you better go see a doctor. Or crack open a
Priapism
Mage book.
is a something you need to get checked out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they say they're going to put some leeches on it, run.
Just remember, folks, the quickest way to kill it: dead puppy, dead puppy, dead puppy.
If that doesn't work, just take the printed Wraith book and the printed Mage book, the Ascension, and just sandwich it between. Just
Open, of course.
no,
to
you
your
got one
favorite
book and
page.
one book. They both weigh like 15 pounds apiece. So
Oh my God! Ow.
Just open to your favorite page. It's weird because now, like, I sat down today and I was just like, all right, we're gonna play. No, we're not. We're
It's
done.
sad, isn't it?
We're done.
Mhm.
And I sat there and I was just like, what am I gonna do now? And I was excited about pitching Scion, since the whole storyline of the Week of Nightmares and everything that we focused on in this season is like the seed for that game. But yeah, Morgan came in with a wild pitch, and now I'm just like,
I already have the costumes for that.
I was gonna say the problem is the pitch is just that I like coming up with character ideas, and so I've been taking characters and being like, here's the spheres I'd use for this character because I don't know anything else about Mage except for the spheres. So
I mean, that's a pretty good bit to know about Mage.
Oh,
let's
it
be real.
is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
but I want to play my 1980s bro and bro adventure movie character, and I can't play that in World War II. I mean, I could.
Technically, you
Technically,
could.
I could.
You could
It
play
would just
that
be
in Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
That'd be
the
amazing.
the fact that I have made a Aslanti child of, I think, Huitzilopochtli, who was a luchador,
Oh God.
and one of my treasures that I got from my father was my luchador mask, and I spoke in third person, always using my luchador name, which is Justicia, which is Spanish for justice. Anything is possible in Scion, and I fully endorse every single avenue you want to explore.
I'd cheer for that luchador in a match. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I was thinking, you know what?
I'm sorry, that just reminds me of Bill's character in Outer Worlds, Swag McNuggets.
This is the disembodied voice of Shanky saying Swag McNuggets can only truly understand how magnificent Swag McNuggets is. And you should not talk about Swag McNuggets unless Swag McNuggets is here to represent himself.
Justicia has probably beaten the Swag McNuggets in a match before.
Oh God, when there's two third-person talkers, it's so confusing. It's like, why is everyone having a conversation at a distance? What the fuck?
Right?
Yeah.
Who's on third person? Sorry.
Because I originally wanted to run Scion just to get that out of my system, and then pitch a full 10 episode series of Mage in Miami, but in the modern day, in exploring this timeline with these paradox spirits watching over everybody. And then Morgan's like, "Hey, World War II, how's that taste?" And I was like,
Delicious.
"Pretty fucking good."
Delicious.
Pretty fucking good.
That wasn't even. I was just like, I watched this movie and I was thinking about stuff, and I was just like, hey, you could do these spheres to these spheres, and yeah.
And it was good. It led to a good idea.
It did.
It's fine. I'm just saying. Like I said,
Take the compliment.
I know the one character I can't make, so I'm avoiding that character, and yeah. So.
Yeah, but that one.
Now I just want to make Winston Churchill.
So
but
why not both?
Yeah.
Why not both Scion and World War II Mage?
Scion in World War II Mage. That way we have actually competent things fighting us.
Oof.
Oh, I'm sorry, Betty. I didn't see it. Hang on.
Ooh. Betty had a question.
Would you even run a more? Okay, she asked. Would you even run a more Afro Latino centric game in regards to mythology?
Oh, for sure. I don't know enough about the Afrocentric mythology, but definitely the island mythology, like Shango and fucking Baron Samedi and all that. Growing up, voodoo is inescapable in Miami. Even going down to the corner store, you'll see a little apothecary is the best word for it. There's wooden tribal totems that are for sale that are lined up outside the doors. There's incense of all kinds. Walking into one of those places, the smell punches you in the back of your nostrils. So I've grown up around it. I pay a lot of reverence to it whenever I do play them, which is why whenever I played someone like Baron Samedi in a game, I'm always like, I have to focus on this accent, on the mythology of him, and I need to make sure that I hit the right themes that are associated with him. Rain, for instance, balance, making sure that if you choose one way, the other way becomes prominent. Those are huge with him, and it was a big thing. But yeah, I'm half Mexican, half Cuban. I love my mythologies that are associated with both of my cultures, and that's why I think in season 2 and 3, Ricardo is very much in the machismo of Cuban male pride. Like he's definitely, there are so many people that I know that just got off the raft that are like Ricardo. And in season 4, it was a breath of fresh air to kind of show a human side of Cubanismo, which is the Cuban machismo, because he wasn't a dick. He was just more human, I think.
He
much
was
more
confident without being arrogant.
Yeah.
Which also translates to very charismatic, as it turns out.
Exactly. That's very attractive.
Yeah.
Confidence without arrogance.
Yeah, it's the Al Pacino in Scarface. You know, the you got to come in and you got to be like, hey, you look like a lizard, and own it.
Yep. Absolutely. But no, I think you did a brilliant job with it. And I could tell that you grew up around it because you did deliver it so authentically, you know, and that is just chef kiss. I love that shit. So
You can always tell when people actually know a mythology because they enjoy talking about it.
yeah,
It's not like some history professor giving a lecture. They're like invested in how they're describing what various like figures in those mythologies did and how certain situations played out. You can always find the mythology nerds by the fact that they just can't resist nerding out when they get to
I'm a
talk about it.
mythology nerd. I love mythologies from all around the world in different cultures. I've done a lot of studying of them. I'm also a practicing witch. So I'm also very respectful of certain closed practices that I don't touch that shit. So, yeah. But I still love learning about it, even if I don't touch it. So, yeah. But yeah, that was a fantastic question, Betty. And truly, for folks who would want to possibly play in something like that, we would love to have you in our Discord to end up applying to play in these games, because we are very diverse in our community and we definitely enjoy having representation of various cultures in our streams. We really do. So it's our general idea that, we lift each other up, we all rise. So
It's called the baseline.
mhm.
Well, I was trying to help out with the commands since the tech Winnie's not doing it, and it didn't work.
Oh, is the bot not running?
It was running earlier. Did I type it wrong?
Ooh.
Discord. No?
There it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
Hey. Did
It
you
was
write
just-
Dick Sword instead?
Oh, so funny it made me disappear from screen. Sorry about that.
Somebody's got Arthur on the mind.
Ooh.
Mm.
God, he was such a, and I say this lovingly, but it's the best way to describe him. He was such a virgin.
Oh, trust me. Not in Camelot. You have way too many ecstatics up in that joint.
That was his past life, though. That was literally his first life. That's different. I swear, like, full disclosure for people, I know there's no question, but I didn't intend him to be the reincarnation of King Arthur. I literally just picked a name that I hadn't played before. I was like, that sounds fun.
But it fits so well.
And then without even realizing it, I was like, oh, I made my avatar a suit of shining armor.
King Arthur.
And then you said Excalibur. I'm like, that's exactly what I was picturing. Fuck, I'm Arthurian, aren't I?
Hey, the IRL fucking entropy just made it all come together. So
True enough. Honestly, I think I've just learned entropy is the best when you have 0 dots in it. It helps you the most when you don't use it.
Ed Shaky asks, if I ran an Iron Crown Enterprises Lord of the Rings one-shot, who here would play?
I'd take some convincing only because my favorite story in Middle-earth is the story of the One Ring, from The Hobbit all the way to the end of Return of the King. I haven't read the Silmarillion yet because I'm bad at reading textbooks. Um, but I did need some convincing just because it's hard for me to wrap my head around telling other stories in that world, I guess.
Yeah.
I could do it. It would just take some finagling.
It's funny because I know a lot of people who are just like, yeah, I want to. If I'm going to play Lord of the Rings, I want to play it during the time of the movies. And for me, wanting to be part of a narrative that already exists has always like irked me. Like even with my Star Wars game, I never want to run in the movies. I don't want to be part of something that already exists because then you're gonna be like forced to think about them to find out where they are in your game. And that's why when I ran Dune, I was like, I need to separate myself as far as possible from the movie so nobody can be like, oh, that's like when this happened in that scene. And it's like, no, this is the first time it's happened. This is the first time we talk about like the sisterhood dealing with the remnants of the pilgrims that went to Arrakis in the first place, and we got to see the whole scene where like everything ended in tragedy because it's fucking Dune, and there are no happy endings on Dune.
Oh, absolutely not.
So,
but I loved playing the Dune game.
I love that system.
That's fucking awesome.
Also seems
I got
like
to
you
be a
maybe
Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, I was about to say it did seem like you enjoyed having that voice at your disposal.
It's like yes.
It's like, oh, I just tell people what to do and they do it.
Yeah,
Sick.
It's sick. Finally, I'm being listened to.
It's just a more direct version of Dominate.
I
Don't get
know.
excited.
And notice I take Dominate on like all my fucking vampires, right? Because I just want to be listened to.
Honestly, the kindred that don't use Dominate are the kindred who've never had to use Dominate.
Yep.
Like, wow, I'm amazed that you've never once broken the masquerade just by a quick slip up. That's impressive. Most people can't say that.
I would say for the Lord of the Rings one, it would depend. Is the system crunchy?
My question is, can I slap Bilbo?
He says it would be before the War of the Rings. So it would be before the Hobbit.
Oh my god. Clans with money offend me. Like those clans that are just, and I'm not saying that Jackie offends me, but anytime that a clan is just like, here's money, bro, get away from me.
I was keeping my vampire dominate blah 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 response in the chat, so it didn't interrupt the Lord of the Rings question.
No, I get it, but then
you know what?
It festered in me.
Look, if you play a rich ass fucking kindred, you don't need dominate. It's called cold hard fucking cash. Bitches clam the fuck up when that wad of cash hits them in the face.
True facts.
So
yeah, money is the secret discipline.
It is.
It is.
Resources. It's the cheapest discipline you can buy.
Yep.
In answer to Verlin's question, combat in the Iron Crown Enterprises version is Rollmaster, essentially. Combat is crunchy.
Then that's going to be it.
If you don't do a lot of combat, which you don't do in a Shanky game, it's not as much crunch. Because I don't do a lot of combat.
Yeah, it's
enough.
One shot.
Shanky here to say that when the combat starts, normally these players fucking start it.
Exactly, because you put assholes in our path.
Either that or, oh, Thin Bloods. Hey guys, consequence free.
I don't know what Shanky's doing, but I put 3-4 seasons of assholes in your path, and you barely fought anybody of my SPC.
Yeah, that's because those assholes were on par with us most of the time, and it's hard to deal with shit that's stronger than you.
Touche.
Hermetics are bastards, but damn it, they're effective when they need to be.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think a Lord of the Rings one shot is probably a no for me personally.
Yeah.
I'm not one shots are great, but my problem is I spend too much whatever into creating a character for a one shot. That's also kind of why I struggle with Mage, because for a four shot, it's not enough time for me to like get a handle on the character.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I do better with a actual like 10 episode season format.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
For me, a Lord of the Rings one shot would be a no dog. So sorry.
Yep. You better ask Dr. Tiss if you're allowed to handle D20s.
Damn.
Me?
No, Shanky, that's her realm.
Oh.
Rollmaster was not D20s. It was
Oh.
1,000-sided die or 100-sided die.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
that's a no for me too
God.
then.
D100.
good lord.
Nope.
Here, roll this golf ball.
Yeah, seriously.
D100 and percentile games, I will always stay away from.
Ugh.
The original Marvel RPG has the percentile system.
Oh.
Yikes, guys.
Okay, well,
It's
we've devolved
hard.
into other games now, so
Yeah,
I'm going to go
yeah.
ahead and wrap this Q&A. Thank you,
This is what
viewers, so
happens.
much for joining us. And if you would like to ask us more questions about various games we might be interested in playing, you can do so in our Discord, which that link was posted in chat, but it needs to be posted again because it's been scrolled out. And also, we cast our games from our Discord community. So make sure you join us there if you haven't already. And we also host usually weekly Zoom chats that are not behind any paywalls or anything because we don't separate our community by haves and have-nots. You can sit and socialize with us on Zoom. You don't even need a camera to do so once a week by being a part of our Discord community. Also, if you'd like to catch this season because you're just now catching this Q&A and haven't seen it, the season, you can check that out on YouTube, as well as seasons 1 through 3 of Mage and a whole bunch of other World of Darkness, Powered by the Apocalypse, and other games that have been run by Shanky, myself, and a few other storytellers as well. So, check that out. And then you can also go to the Ishvel YouTube for our amazing European GM, Dr. Tiss, for her Call of Cthulhu game that she runs on our channel currently, and her concluded D&D campaign, D&D 5e campaign that she ran called Ishvel. It was in a custom Nordic-inspired world that she created. You can check that out there. Also, there is, well, Shanky does it in a different order than I do it. So we have our friends that also stream. We would love for you to go and give them some love from the McStabber community by giving them a follow and showing your support to them. 2 of them are in this stream with me right now. Ravnos Archon, tell us what you got going on in your channel.
Right now I have 2 more episodes of Vampire on Monday. Mondays is my Vampire Day. After the new year, we're gonna be kicking back off with our Werewolf the Wild West and our Legend of the Five Rings game on Tuesdays. And I believe my Fridays is switching. We still haven't finalized the new day for that, but that's gonna be Dungeons and Dragons, and 7th Sea is gonna be the alternating game with that, so that's going to be really interesting. And Saturdays, once a month, I try to showcase a new game or a game that I really enjoy, so there's always a one-shot going on.
Excellent. And the Ivy Raven, what you got going on?
When I stream video games. So right now it's probably going to be World of Warcraft. There's new World of Warcraft content out. There's going to be new Destiny 2 content next week. I'll be streaming that most likely. I was going to try and stream with some other people doing some other stuff, but it always seems like schedules and things and just the time of day and like general mood doesn't work. So yeah, I stream video games and talk about whatever. Talk about a lot of stuff, random shit. So
It's a lot of fun hanging out with her over there, so do give her a follow. So if you would like to get any McStabber Studios merch, you can do so at the Zazzle link in chat right now. That merch is basically for the studio, and there's also game-specific merch from the various games and one-shots and stuff that we have run. You do need to be logged in, though, because especially in the Windy City, our vampire stream merch, there's 1 or 2 items I had to list as adult due to swear words on it, because we have a Camp Wish a Motherfucker Would Camp Counselor t-shirt that is amazing, and you have to be logged in to show that you are an adult to be able to see the listing. So do check that out. Oh my
least-
God.
at
It is an
least-
epic shirt.
You at least have to make them think you're an adult. They can't prove
Yeah,
it.
they can't prove it, but at least make them think you're an adult. I mean, over here we have a saying that we're all adult-ish. And if you would like to support Ravnos Archon, Maddox, Ivy Raven here, you can do so by showing us your biddies or giving a donation at the link in chat. And if you would like to support the studio, which is myself, and when Shanky is on stream, Shanky, you can do so by either subscribing here on Twitch. You have Amazon Prime. You get 1 free subscription a month, and you might consider sharing that with us. Or you can donate directly to our KoFi, where Twitch can't take half. So, you can buy Mama a coffee. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Just spent over $1,000 on a dog that we had to put to sleep today. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you all so much. And coming up over the next week, what we have going on. Hang on, let me mute and ask real quick. So what we have going on is this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe Shanky will be doing the season summary of Windy City After Dark because he is improving. He was in a lot of pain and had to delay the season summary.
Come hell or high water, I will be doing a season summary with your boy Twitch.
But we're getting him better, and he's actually doing significantly better now. So he should be able to get, views in on those season episodes and get a summary put together by Sunday. So join us Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern for that summary, and where he is in character as your boy Twitch, the Malkavian Alistair that spies on shit going on in our chronicle.
Always the Malkavians. You think they don't know shit, and then they know everything.
They know everything. Yes. And that basically is it over the next week, because things are a little bit delayed with Demon returning as well. So that's going to be probably about a week out from that. So, but we appreciate y'all's patience and understanding while Shanky was unable to do streams. And sincerely, we love our community. And thank you for your sympathy for our dog having to be put to sleep today. Thank you for your support of Shanky having to deal with this issue that he's been having for weeks now. And truly, we love you all. Also, because we love our community, we want you to take care of yourselves. It's stressful right now. Around the world is stressful right now. Companies are making record profits, so they're calling it inflation. And people are suffering because of it. And it's the holiday season, which is usually rough on anybody. Especially anybody who's suffered any kind of losses or traumas. Holidays can be very rough. If you find that you are in crisis, please reach out to one of the crisis lines posted in chat right now. You can call or text them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you are outside of the U.S., there is a link to find a helpline. That site is amazing. You can find crisis lines for various different crisis situations in over 140 countries by putting in your country and searching. Please get that help because we want to see you in the new year. Okay? And also, if you feel like you're just lonely, reach out to folks. Let them know that you just need to chit-chat, get some interaction. That can help lift your spirits a little bit because people can't read your mind. If you wait for someone to call you, they may never, but if you ask for help, you usually will get it. And if you haven't heard from somebody in a while, please reach out to them. Just check in. See how they're doing. That might be what lifts them up that day. And honestly, I'm Mama McStabber. I'm a registered nurse. And I'm going to tell you, please get your shots. COVID is still very much a thing. The bivalent vaccine is highly effective. Please get it. Flu is a whole ass thing, and it is hitting early this year. Please get your flu shot. RSV is affecting young children, babies. So much so that there is a crisis of pediatrics in hospitals around the country because they have run out of beds for the sick kids. Anti-vaxxers have caused this shit, y'all. Please, get your vaccines, get your kids the vaccines. Please. Fuck Putin. Fuck Trump. Fuck the Iranian government. Oh, and fuck the Chinese government too. Fuck the fascists. And honestly, being nice is performative, y'all. Being kind is genuine. So please be kind to those around you. Said with love. Have a good night.
And I'm going to speak one last time as we end. As the disembodied tech weenie voice, I would like to personally thank Ravnos Archon, Mama McStabber, Maddox, and the Ivy Raven for being in this show. And Timber Brad, who's not here, both for running the game and for being in the show. Because as someone who doesn't play Mage, it's not my game, I still love to watch the story. I still love to watch the characters unfold, and it's been a privilege to be the tech weenie for this chronicle.
He always gets a little teary at the end of a chronicle.
Even when I wasn't in. We hate to see him end. We're gamers.
Yes, and maybe Strange, I completely agree with you. Fuck that jerk shooting up Club Q. Fuck the TERFs. Fuck the Christian fucking nationalists. I'm sorry. I have no tolerance for assholes anymore. My love to all of y'all. Even my Rainbow Mafia.
So I just wanted to thank Will for donating his time to this, because none of us make money off this, and the players. So as the disembodied Shanky, I do thank you all for coming. And hopefully we see you during one of our other streams. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.